I see some pretty crazy shit over the last 24 years in practice where people are vulnerable and they are not needing somebody to judge them. When I walked into the exam room, I immediately felt the tension. Alice sat on the table, her disheveled hair and flannel pajamas telling part of the story. The rest was written on her tear-streaked face. Every few seconds, she sniffled, holding her belly as if it was her only anchor. My heart ached for her. I knelt to her level, meeting her eyes to offer some comfort. Years of paramedic work had taught me that presence often speaks louder than words. But before I could say anything, her husband, Peter, do you think you could fix her so I could go to work? She kept me up all night, crying and more crying. And I'm sick of it. I keep asking her how to help, and all I get is more crying. This wasn't a bit. This was real. Standing, I turned toward Peter, and in a calm but assertive, dominant tone, I said, "You must be Peter. I'm Dr. Brandy. Welcome to my practice. I promise we'll figure out what's going on with Alice, and we'll come up with a plan together. Would you like some coffee?" I nodded to my assistant. "Alex, could you take Peter to the waiting room for coffee and show him our nursing room? Maybe he can catch a nap before work." Turning back to Peter, I added, "Please make yourself at home, and more importantly, try to relax." When the door closed behind him, Alex crumbled. "How could I have done this to us?" she sobbed. "I wanted this baby. Peter did too at one point, but now I've ruined everything. I can't dress myself. I can't sit comfortably. I can't sleep. And when I cry, he gets angry, furious. My decision for a second baby has destroyed us financially, emotionally, and physically. I've ruined our marriage." Tears soaked her face and her hair as she held her belly tighter. I placed a reassuring hand on her back. I said, "It's like being tossed into a raging river. You thought you were prepared, but now the current is nothing like you expected. And you can't just step out of the water. You have to keep moving. But you don't have to do it alone. We're going to navigate these waters together, and I promise we'll find a way to steady you." Through her tears, Alice whispered, "I wish Peter spoke to me like this." So this highlights something that happens in my practice all the time where people don't know how to act. As a feminist and as somebody who doesn't tolerate women being treated like shit, it was really hard for me not to swing into paramedic mode and shut him down and kick him out of my treatment room. But when I stepped back and looked at the whole situation, she had kept him up for nights and nights and nights, and that was not her fault. But he didn't have the emotional intelligence or the emotional skills. It's not a slam on him to know how to deal with her. He had never seen her like this. This is why I wrote this book, because I've seen countless encounters like this. So if you're interested, this is on Amazon.